But yeah, really excited to get going, and it's really nice to meet you all. I see there's loads of people like all around the world. It's really cool, and just really excited to show you Hostfully and showcase the check-in and this awesome integration partner. So yeah, if you guys are cool, we'll get started. What we'll do is we'll just go through a bit of Hostfully, and then what we'll do is offload everything to Gianluca and Julia. And as Mitch was saying before, like just drop questions in just below. There's a little questions box at the bottom, as well as putting in the polls as well. That would be really, really cool just throughout. And then what we'll do, I think what would be best maybe if we just go through it all, and then near the end we'll answer all questions. I think Gianluca and Mitch and Julia are going to answer questions throughout, but if there's any others, we can go through them at the end. But yeah, we're really excited to get started. But what I'll do first, I'll just introduce ourselves. So there's Gianluca Cortese, I'm head of revenue at Chekin, and Julia Dedu, I'm going to say it wrong, sales account executive at Chekin as well. Mitch, manager of partnerships and integrations, and myself, director of business development. We're really excited to meet you all and showcase it all to you. What I'll do is I'll just tell you a bit more about Hostfully. Hostfully is one of the leading platforms out there. It's going to cover everything for you in addition to channel management. Now, I can go through it for you in ages, but what we can do is afterwards, if you want to have like a real personal one-on-one demo, really happy to share that to you. But the platform itself, it is an end-to-end solution. It'll cover everything. What you'll have in there is channel management, so you can connect it with, say, Airbnb, Booking.com, Vrbo, TripAdvisor. You've got Homes and Marriott's. We're going to be integrated with Google Travel really soon. One of the first, if not the first, to integrate with. You've got a unified inbox where you can message all guests, owners, cleaners, service providers. You've got the pipeline for managing all the bookings. You've got calendar and quote building tools in there. It really just covers everything. There's loads more. You've got owners and cleaners portals, loads of automations. You can automate emails, text messages, WhatsApp messages, job creations for cleaners or service providers. You can post reviews automatically through to Airbnb. You can automate reports to be sent to the owner's portal or to people directly. You can fully customizable reports. You can create discount codes for your website. We do offer an out-of-the-box template website as well for you to use. I could go on and on and on. So the platform, it does cover everything with channel management. And then we also have another product, the Guidebooks, which are really cool. They offer like a 5-star experience for the guests. So it's kind of like a modern version of a binder. So instead of having a binder in an apartment or a room or an Airbnb, you're going to have a digital version which offloads everything for the guests. So it's going to cover everything from check-in, check-out, parking, where to go and eat, what to go and do, everything. So they're not going to bombard you with questions, and they just deliver a really good experience. There are ways of making money through them. So we do connect it with Viator through them. So Viator, it's owned by TripAdvisor, and basically activities from there are pulled in into the guidebook, and the guests can buy them. And for every ticket sale made through a guidebook, you'll make 8% commission, which is pretty sweet. But there's loads through that as well. The guidebooks, you can have your own marketplace in there. You can upsell. You can gather email addresses through the splash screen. So before they access your guidebook, every guest would have to fill in their name and email address. You can add in like any sort of things around your local area. It can pull data from Google as well. So you don't need to like manually put everything in. You can literally put in like a local bar in your area, pop it into the guidebook, and it's going to, recommend that to the guest. So yeah, they offer a 5-star experience, and they can really give that guest a real good experience in your local area around the property. So I hope that gives you a bit of an overview of the platform and the guidebooks. We go hand in hand really, really well, but two very separate products there. As I was saying, the platform, it does cover everything in addition to channel management, which I've been through. Last year we got Best Property Management Software with the Shorties Award, and we are back to back with the VRB Keystone Awards, mirroring our continued successes and growth. Like the company has doubled in size last year. More and more features are coming out. We're trying to offload more features that our clients are wanting, such as most recently we got a WhatsApp integration. So you now can WhatsApp, and you can automate WhatsApp messages to be sent to guests, owners, cleaners. As I was saying before as well, we're going to be integrated with Google Travel, which is really exciting. A great channel there, which will be a bit of a game changer for the industry. Vrbo direct messaging, we've already got direct messaging into Airbnb and Booking.com. We are the most openly integrated platform out there as well. So like Chekin, we integrate with Chekin and many other companies such as dynamic pricing, cleaning and turnover management, marketing like MailChimp, loads and loads of different integrations. So yeah, that's a bit about the platform. And yeah, the guidebooks I was saying covers the whole experience. The reports, yeah, so we do bring out one report every year, which just gives you a real good overview of statistics and how the industry is doing. So what you can do, yeah, we can send you this after the webinar from last year. Really useful insight into trends, bookings, how everything's flowing and doing. It's been a tough few years in the industry, so it's good to see it getting back on track and getting everything flowing. And that's a bit about Hostfully. Yeah, what I'd love to do now is pass it on to Gianluca, and he's going to go into more depth about Chekin.
Thanks a lot, Joseph. Thanks everybody for joining the webinar. Actually, it's Gianluca, head of revenue at Chekin. And yeah, the purpose of the webinar is, of course, explaining to you, showing to you what Chekin actually can offer you in order to help you on a daily basis automating the steps of the check-in process. So yeah, if you want, Joseph, go directly to the next slide. So yeah, so this is just a bit of introduction, just to give you some context about why Chekin actually has been created, no? Which is the purpose of this tool. Actually, there have been around 1 billion nights spent in the tourism accommodation in 2022 between January and June. So it is a lot, and it means like that there are a ton of guests traveling within the same country, from one country to another. And in several cases, especially, for example, in Europe, as now we are going to see, those guests has to be registered somehow by the host. There are also several legal requirements depending on the country where you stay, like, for example, sending the data to the authorities of the country. Maybe you need to ask the guest to pay tourist taxes. Other people doesn't actually want to meet the guest in person because they have automated the entrance to the accommodation. So anyway, somehow they need to take a kind of deposit or something to protect their accommodation. They need to take those city taxes, and also they would like to maybe resell something, not to guests, and they cannot do it in person since they are not going to meet the guest in person, right? So yeah, if you go next, Joseph. Okay, so here is actually the summary of what I just said, right? The check-in process is a really tedious process. In some cases, for example, where also you need to send the data to the authorities, like in a ton of countries in Europe, it may take also around 1 hour. Why? Because you need to ask to every guest that you're gonna actually host all their personal data, so the name, the last name, the passport number, birthday, nationality, and so on. And this, you have to do it for every guest. Then also you have to ask for the city taxes payment. There is also, of course, don't forget, if you meet the guest in person, you need time to go from your home to the apartment, make them check in. Maybe you have also to ask for a deposit, right, and so on. So it is a really tedious process, and especially if you have then to send also the data to some authorities. Actually, apart from asking them for those data, then you have some homework, right? You have to go home and you have to sit in your table and send through your laptop the data to the authorities. So it is actually a really, really tedious process and not efficient at all. So if you go next, Joseph, thanks. Cool. What is the idea? Of course, to automate all these processes, right? So this is actually why Chekin has been created. The idea is to help hosts on a daily basis to automate the whole check-in process from the booking confirmation to the checkout, automating each single step that I've just told you, right? We can go next. Okay, yeah, this is basically like our sentence, right? Like the slogan of our company. We automate the entire check-in process from the booking confirmation till the checkout. This actually include like an online check-in to be sent to the guest, and during that online check-in, we can ask the guest to go through several steps: the identity verification, filling in the online check-in in order to comply with legal requirements, which may be different, like state by state, country by country, region by region, connection with remote access application, so with smart locks, basically. We have also a solution to improve the guest experience in general, like with the upselling feature that now we are going to see. Solution to protect your accommodation. So we can block a deposit in the guest credit card, or also we can upsell a damage insurance pack. And also some solution like for payments, for booking payments, and other type of payments like taxes. So yeah, we can go on. Which are the benefits? Like with all this said, of course, like you may imagine, like that you are able through Chekin, thanks to Chekin, to save time, to get extra revenue. You're going to, of course, automate all this tedious process. So you have actually people, for example, the guys at the reception, instead of having to fill in a ton of papers and so on, or maybe asking for taxes payment, etc. You can have them like doing more productive stuffs. Okay. You can improve, of course, you're going to improve the guest experience, because this is clear, like, and you can see it by looking on the net, but actually all the guests, the majority of them, prefer that the host is going to offer them an automate check-in. They don't want, actually, if you go, for example, to Rome, you don't want to wait for the host to come asking like for your data, for taxes and so on, because this is gonna take like at least 30 minutes. Sometimes the host comes late. It has happened to me, for example, 1 month ago in Italy. I had to wait 1 hour the host. So the ideal is for the guests that everything is automated. They arrive in the city, they leave the luggage, and they can start with the first round of the city, right? And so in general, you can manage, thanks to this, an efficient lodging business, right? So we can go next. Okay, so the idea of this is actually providing the host with an online check-in solution. So this online check-in is actually a web app link. So you don't also have to require like the guest to download a mobile app, because that can be a friction, actually having the guest that has to download an app. So it is easily like a link. Within there is like a web app, so they open the link in their browser, by their laptop, or from their actually mobile phone, and they register. So they go step by step, and this online check-in, as said, is actually 100% like customizable, in the sense that you decide if guests have to pass through this process, or this, or this, or this, right? So let's go to the next slide. Thanks a lot, Joseph. So the first step is, of course, about legality, as said at the beginning. As you can see from this slide, there are like some countries, especially in Europe, that requires the host actually to send data to the authorities, meaning like sending the data to the police. So the police is actually a website in this country, like in Spain, in Italy, Portugal, etc. And actually, you have to mandatory send this data to the website of the police. And also, in some countries, there is also a website for the from the National Statistic Institute. So, for example, Italy has like 20 different websites, like one website per each region, something like really crazy. And so this is one of the requirements, that the host have to do. Check-in help with this. As you can see from this table, we are like complying with those legal requirements in the country that you can see in this actually table. So we send the data to the authorities of Spain, Italy, Portugal. We are also like outside Europe helping. So in some countries, like for example, we help in Dubai province. We also help in Colombia. So we are also integrated with actually authorities in Colombia, in Thailand too, and so on. So this is like the great solution, especially for those hosts that are actually working internationally, right? Because we can offer you a really global solution in the sense that if you have property in Italy, if you have property in Portugal and Spain at the same time, you have a connection to the Portuguese, Spanish, and Italian authorities. So with one solution only, you automate the legal compliance in all those countries. Okay, so we can step to the next. Yeah, another nice feature is actually the identity verification. So basically, this is especially for those hosts actually that automates the access to the accommodation, right? They have like to verify somehow the identity of the guest, since they are not going to meet the guest in person. So the idea is to have, during the online check-in process, the guest going through a biometric technology. Basically, we are going to ask the guest if the host wish to take a selfie and a picture of their official ID, so ID, national ID or passport. Basically, we are going to extrapolate the picture from the ID and we are going to compare it with the selfie, studying the biometric parameters of the face that we can find in both pictures, right? And if it's all good, actually, for example, if you are connected with remote access application, we can send then the code to the guest. And now we are gonna check also in the next slides with which actually smart locks we are integrated with. And here we go. So we like to say that we are a kind of smart locks hub because we are integrated with a ton of smart locks and similar solution. You can see the different brands we are integrated with, but actually if you go to our website in the marketplace, you are going to find even way more than this. So we are connected with the most important actually smart locks out there. And what that means? It means that you can have your guests going through the online check-in process, asking them to go through the step you want, as said. And once they have, for example, all registered, because you're going to decide the condition that they have to meet in order to receive the keys. So, for example, you can say, okay, my guest, the whole group has to do the identity verification, so the biometric, but they also have to pay me the taxes. They have to add a card for the deposit, and so on. And only after this, only once they have completed all these steps, they are gonna receive the key. So Chekin is going to generate automatically the key in your smart lock and send the key for you. So also we automate that step, that if you don't have a software like this, basically you are every day generating codes and sending them manually to the guest. So there's no need anymore to do so. We save your time on that and we generate the codes and we send them to the guest. So yeah, we can go next. And damage protection and deposit, this is more for your actually protection and the protection of your accommodation and your protection in the sense of money. No, you don't want to lose money for damages, right? So the idea is actually protect all the hosts, and we give you like two options that you can actually combine. So you can decide if asking the guest to add their credit or debit card details during the online check-in, and we block an amount on their cards, and we protect you until 1 week after the checkout. So you have all the time like to check if there is any damages, and if so, with a button, with a simple click, you click charge deposit. For example, you have blocked €200 on their card, you can charge them with a click in case of damages. Or also the option to actually upsell to the guest insurance pack. We are in this sense partnering with a leader insurance company in the USA. There is expanding now actually even in Europe. So you have the chance to upsell during the line check-in insurance against damages. So why upsell? Because actually we are going to tell you, listen, this insurance pack is costing like $20. But up to you if you want to resell it at $25, $30. So you set the price, right? So the guest may buy the insurance during the line check-in, and at the same time you protect yourself, and you are also making extra money, so generating extra revenue per every reservation. And also you're giving a different chance to the guest, because actually it's not like blocking suddenly 200, 500, whatever money in their card, but it's just saying, listen, buy an insurance for $20, for example, and you are like fully covered, like up to this amount of money in case of damages. Okay, let's go next. And online payment, of course, like also we offer a solution like in case you want, for example, to complete the payment of the booking in Chekin platform. So we can synchronize like the booking amount from the PMS, the amount due, so they can pay, for example, within the same online check-in, the amount due of the booking payment, taxes, deposit, buying an insurance, etc., etc., etc. We can go next. Tourist taxes. Also, this is a super important step, actually. Especially, this is really sensitive thing, like for the European people, because taxes is a really crazy stuff in Europe. In Italy, I'm from Italy, so I know like that. For example, there are like more than 8,000 different taxes. Italy is crazy in this sense. So like they've created a really crazy system that basically, depending on where you have the accommodation located, the taxes structure is completely different. No, so what we do basically, we are able to calculate the right amount of taxes to be paid by the guest, depending on all like the parameters that has to be actually evaluated in order to ask for the right amount. It is a big difference, like comparing with OTA, for example. I know there is like some OTA that provide with a taxes payment, but actually, the OTA doesn't have actually guest data with them, and actually these taxes literally depend on guest data. You have to know, like, if you have within 5 guests, for example, 2 of them they are less than 18 years old, is an example. No, if they have like a special condition, so they don't have to pay taxes. If you are in high or low season, it may vary also the amount of taxes to be paid. There is a maximum night that you can actually ask the payment for. So we take into account all these parameters, all these variables, and we require the guest always to pay the right amount of taxes. And also we offer the chance to charge those taxes during the online check-in. So again, one more step of the check-in process within the same online check-in. So you don't need like to go, you don't ask the guest to go through this app, this and this and this. You have all these steps all automated within one solution. We can go next. And this is actually a feature that we have recently launched. So it is upselling. As you can see from the title of this slide, the important stuff is, of course, to making extra revenue. This idea, actually, to be honest, was born like during the COVID. Like we said, we need to help somehow, like our hosts making money, because it was a period, like everybody suffered like loss of money, activity close, and so on. So we decided like to build something that help the host actually to make more money, because it was needed, being honest, no, at the time, and actually it's needed more in general, no, every day, no, it's important like to take the most from our activities, right? So the idea is actually that we allow the host to upsell during the online check-in. So it's like a possibility to add an online store. So the host can upsell their own service, like early check-in, a late checkout, an extra cleaning, a small bed for a baby, and so on. So this one are like the most sellable stuff. And also activate with one click only a connection with a third party platform that we have that will we want in 1 second only add to your online check-in an online store full of experiences, activities, and so on. And those are like all the experiences that you can find in those websites like Civitatis, Hotel Bez, Viator, and so on. So with one click only, you are going to provide your guests also during the online check-in with a solution to plan in a better way their trip. So they can buy, for example, museum ticket, they can buy some sport activity, a tour of the city, and so on. So you are gonna make your guests happier, of course, because they can plan their trip in a better way. And you are gonna make also extra money, of course, because for anything sold online, you get a commission. So it's actually like a win-win, no? And you have your guests happy, you are happier because you are making money, and you're gonna receive, of course, like better reviews in the OTA, because you are giving like more help to your guests, actually. So we can go to the next. So yeah, this is about the guest experience. So here is actually how they can see, for example, you see on the right on this slide, how they can see, for example, the offer of early check-in in the mobile phone. The other picture is actually how you can build your own offer through our platform. So it's pretty easy. And if we go to the next slide, actually, cool. Here you see like how all those offer like coming from website like Civitatis, as you can see on this slide, are shown during the online check-in. So it's a pretty easy UI, as you can see, everything clear. They have cool pictures with all the description of each activity, each experience. They check out. The cool thing is that, again, once more, like they do everything in check-in platform. So even the checkout, if they are interested on buying, for example, this activity that you can see on the right side, they are gonna do the checkout within the online check-in of Chekin. So yeah, this is how it looks like. And if we go to the next, I think it's the last one, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so super important, of course. What helps actually to have everything automated, it is actually we have built this nice integration with Hostfully. So the idea is actually to sync all the reservation coming from Hostfully, the confirmed reservation, and send to the guest an online check-in automatically. So you don't even have like to copy and paste the link of the online check-in and send to the guest. This will be sent automatically depending on when you want to send this link. So you can set also the timing to send this link before X hour, weeks from the check-in date. That is actually all. I don't know, Joseph, if we have time maybe to show the video on this last slide.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much, Gianluca, for showcasing Chekin. Such a great integration, and I particularly really impressed with the legal compliance. It's a game changer for being in the European market, where the manager doesn't have to deal with putting in guests'
Right.
information, which can take up to, like, I don't know, it probably take absolutely ages,
Yeah.
10 minutes or more just to do one guest, to put it in there. So it's great to see that automation where you can, the guest fills in their details and it gets sent straight through to the legal authorities. I guess now maybe we could go through any questions anyone have. I certainly have a couple, but yeah, I'd love to hear if anyone else has got any questions. I'll give it a sec, and then if not, I'll ask away. But I guess maybe I could first go. I'd love to hear a bit more about, like, future plans. What is there anything else that is coming up soon with Check-in? Any more features? Any more sort of legal compliance authority automations with different countries? Yeah, it'd be great to hear.
Yeah, sure. So of course, like we don't stop actually automating more and more and more, and also integrating with more application out there. So the idea, for example, is to add in 2023 more apps of remote accesses, for example. Also, in terms of legal compliance, we are now going to compete, for example, new integration, for example, with authorities in Germany. So this is gonna help for sure. Even the host in Germany, it has been asked a lot. So we're going to complete an integration with Germany too. And the idea is also to work more on the also hotel side, for example, to give a solution, even a solution, for example, for the checkout of the hotels. There is something really important. So we want actually to cover also some part of the checkout process, like related with payments and so on. So guests can leave like the hotel room and having paying everything, make sure like that everything has been paid. So yeah, like we don't actually like stop building stuffs. And of course, like even in terms of police, we are gonna add more and more and more.
Brilliant. Very exciting. And also with, oh wait, Ruth, I think Ruth has a question. Great. I think Julia's answering that with you, Ruth. There, perfect. One other thing, with the autonomous arrival, brilliant feature. Really enjoy it. With regards to, like, there's three ways the guests can open the door with a virtual key through check-in. There is also collecting the physical key from a security box. With regards to they can collect it from a nearby store. Can you tell me more about that? Like, what sort of stores they are, and is it sort of connected with check-in in a way, or is it a bit more sort of flexible?
Yeah, so we offer like all kind also of solution, like for automating the entrance to the accommodation. So there are like some like hosts that have smart locks. So in that sense, it's pretty easy, pretty easy in the sense like the solution is actually easy in the sense that we are going to generate the code for the host and send the code, provide the code to the guest. So the nice thing is that the host is deciding when to send the codes, like saying, hey, check-in, don't provide the code to the guest until they have completed like this step, and this step, paying taxes and so on. But also, like, we offer an option, for example, because you were mentioning like normal keys. Sometimes also people, they don't want to invest on smart lock because they have a certain cost. So what they do is putting like a mechanical box outside like the apartment and store the key there. So it's like a safety key box, but it's mechanical, not electronic. And we are also able, like, they can decide to prepare a custom email in check-in with the code of the mechanical lock and send it out, like, again, once the guest has completed all the steps. And then we have other solution, like there are people like they want to leave the key, for example, I don't know like how many of you like are familiar, for example, with Keynest, but Keynest give the chance also to leave the keys in a bar for example, in a pub next to the apartment. So we are also connected with this kind of application where the host leaves the key in the bar next to the apartment, and we send basically, once they complete the online check-in, the information of the address where the bar is, what they have to tell to the barman in order to get the keys, and so on. So there are literally several solutions.
Awesome. Hey, thank you for sharing. That's me good for questions. If anyone else wants to take it away.
Well, I had a quick question from my perspective. Like we mentioned, I'm US based. The area that I'm in, they don't require any like verification of identity and submitting that, but still a really cool concept for just to have that as a host and that peace of mind. And I was curious how long does that typically take for guests to fill out all that verification? Is it a few minutes? Does it take a little longer, or what's that look like?
It's like super like quick. It depends, of course, on how many steps like the host asks the guest to going through, right? Like, of course, if you have to do the identity verification and also pay taxes and deposit and so on, it's a bit larger, than only doing like the form and doing the identity verification. Let's say that if you want to fill in like the form and pass through the identity verification, because those are the only two requirements by the host, it's gonna take less than 1 minute. So it's really fast. And even the process of the biometric verification is like you take the selfie, you take the picture of the ID, and just in a couple of seconds, already like the application show you the match between the two pictures. So it's pretty fast.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant to hear. How about do you know, and maybe this is a stat you don't even know, but obviously people have been, gathering this info before, they have maybe had check-in or an automated process to do it. How much time does that typically save someone that
like the traditional check-in without any application, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, it may take at least it depends, of course, like on how many guests have per day. But imagine, for example, even an hotel with 40 rooms, no, and they may have like 20 new check-in in a day. So 20 new check-in, you have maybe 3 guests per each room, so it's 60 guests. Maybe you spend 10 minutes per guest, so it's 600 minutes. So it's like a ton of hours, and you literally need a person like working just on that, while actually you can automate the process, with checking, no. So it's like literally like take this money like and use it for another thing, no. So especially those people can be useful, like their work can be more productive if they focus on other stuff.
Yeah, Mitch, I can confirm you that, because before working for Chekin, I work for a property management agency here in Spain. Okay, so actually I was a receptionist, and every Friday it was like running from an apartment to another, and I was losing tons of times of hours with the registration of the guests. Imagine also that sometimes, well, actually a lot of times in vacation rental properties, you receive just a part of the guest, probably when they are, for example, in a big group, or and just 2 or 3 of them, they arrive at 3 p.m. and the rest of the group maybe join the rest of the team at late in the night. No, so for this kind of things, also checking is super useful, because the group is able to actually register by themselves, just sharing between them the check-in online link. And this is a very good thing for the host and for the flexibility of the guest as well.
Also, the check-in during the night, it's actually a big problem, no? Because if they come late, like if the flight has some delay, what do you do? Like you have to leave your apartment in the night, go meet the guest in person, do all this stuff. So it's like crazy, and especially like if you manage like vacation rental, you have to jump from one to another. Then there is the thing that Julia mentioned, that probably is a group.
The
So
marathons of New York every Friday.
you get stuck in the traffic jam. So a ton of things, no?
Yeah. And also,
Brilliant.
let's
That's a great
imagine
answer.
just the flexibility that you give to your guests. They don't have to inform you about what time they are going to arrive. There is no limits for check-in, right? So also, if I lose my flight and I arrive at 2 a.m., there's no problem actually, because if we have remote access, the guests can fill the form and then get the instruction to get inside, and no problem at all for you and for them, of course.
Mhm.
Sounds like a major time saver. You guys heard it here.
Also, Mitch, Joseph, just to actually complete the reply to the one of the first question, I think Joseph asked me about the new things that we are going to release and so on. It's also important to say like a check-in, like we love to hear like customer voice, right? So we have literally like improved the platform during the years, thanks also to the customer feedback. And when it's like feedback that makes sense, like feedback, imagine like host in the USA, they love the platform, and they actually find out that they have a specific need, and they tell it to us, no? So if we understand like it is something like that makes sense to do, like we are happy to invest resources on that new project and implement a new feature, no, in order to provide a solution to the host in that area. So that is also the nice thing, I think, of our team, that we never stop implementing, especially like listening to our customer voices.
I think that's awesome to mention, especially when, this industry, there's some larger corporate companies, and you might have some input and it might never get heard. And we're the same way over at Hostfully. We love to listen to our hosts and our property managers, because at the end of the day, those are our users, and they're letting us know what they need.
Right.
So I think that's huge for check-in. I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Do you think we have time to watch this video, Gianluca? Just
We have time. Feel free like to launch it, and I'm gonna explain a bit what it's about.
Here we go.
Okay, so this is basically a video of how the integration works. If you can, okay, that is perfect. So here, as you can see, we are in Hostfully, that you know by heart. We are creating a reservation, so you're gonna see the flow through Hostfully and Chekin, right? So here, this is a colleague of ours creating a reservation in Hostfully PMS. She's adding all the details in order to create it. So the reservation is created and confirmed in Hostfully, and in literally a few seconds, it is appearing in Chekin. So this second reservation that you just seen has been synchronized is the reservation she has created in Hostfully. So here is the reservation, how it looks like in Chekin. Okay, with all the data, check-in, check-out date, the name of the guest, and so on. And now what she's going to do is clicking on the copy link button. That is basically the link of the online check-in. So we show you how our online check-in looks like. So here we are inside the online check-in. She's confirming the details, and she's passing now through all the steps of the check-in process. So this is about the identity verification. So she's gonna take a picture of the identity card. Or she can also upload the picture, so she can drag and drop actually the picture here. So she's adding the picture. Here we are actually covering, because it's like personal data, so we have like covered them in the video. Cool. So here, so she passed through the identity verification. In that case, it was not a complete biometric match, because the host also can decide if ask for a complete biometric process, so selfie plus ID, or just the ID picture. So in this case, it was just the ID. And here she has filled in the form, as you can see, like neither like 20 seconds, no? Here is about the protection of your accommodation, as we said before. So she's adding like the credit card details in order to block an amount on the credit card. So it has been done. So the amount is actually blocked in the credit or debit card of the guest. Here is about the taxes calculation. So depending on the parameters, so we show the right amount of taxes to be paid. And here is about upselling, right? So as said, actually, you can upsell your own deal. For example, here she has created like quickly a deal called Test One. Of course, you can add all the information you need in order to sell it better, right? So you have like to act as a marketing people, no? And here it's about those offers, like they are coming from website like Civitatis, right? So here you have all of them like integrated in your online check-in. So again, even in this case, basically you have those experiences available in one platform only. They can buy it. So they can buy it for one guest, two guests, etc. Here they fill in all the details. All of this, as you can see, is through Chekin platform, of course. And now basically she's showing how to buy that experience within the online check-in. Okay, so she's doing like the checkout. Perfect. So it has been booked. And here, yeah, it's basically it's the total actually, right? So sorry, I said before the checkout is gonna be here. So basically, she has to pay taxes, she has to pay the upselling. So she's gonna do the process here by adding the card. And at the end, like there is a summary also to make it clear, no, to the guest. Okay, perfect. You have done this. You are ready to go, basically. So the nice thing now, she's updating, she's refreshing the page of the reservation in Chekin. This is for the host, right? So what the host is going to see. And here, the host can review actually all the things that the guest has done during the online process, right? Also, as last step in this video, she's going to show us the thing of the remote access, right? So the guest has completed the whole actually check-in process, and he got basically the email with the instruction in order to open the door. So she's now in front of the door of the apartment. She has clicked on a button and she has opened the door, basically. So yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you for showcasing, Gianluca.
That's it.
Thank you, Julie, as well.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah. And thank you everyone else for joining and asking loads of questions. It's been a pleasure to show you the integration and how it all works. But what we'll do after this as well, we'll send you an email later on. It'll just cover everything for you, and recorded video as well if you want to watch that. So, but yeah, no, I think that pretty much sums up. If there's any more questions, please ask away. But it's been so nice to show you Hostfully and Chekin. It's an awesome integration. It's really going to help so many property managers out there with so many different features there. So yeah, hey, thank you so much, guys.
Thanks a lot to you, Joseph.
Thank you, Guy.
Chance to do this webinar. Really love the idea. So thanks a lot to everybody that joined the webinar.
Thank you. Yeah, and we're 5 minutes early. I don't know if anyone wants to ask any more questions. Please ask away. But if not, we'll probably finish a little bit earlier. Mitch, if there's anything else to cover, maybe.
No, I think that kind of sums it up. I want to say thank you guys for joining. This was awesome. And we can go ahead and end the event. Like Joseph mentioned, we'll send you all the details after. I can stay on for the remainder of the time. You'll still be able to ask questions even when the event's not being recorded. So
perfect. Pleasure, guys. It's been such a great time to show everything. And yeah, we'll connect soon. But have a great day, everyone. And really thank you for everyone for joining.